Apparently, the skill revamps part 4 is out. I'm a little bit unconscious. It's a little bit late, a little bit 3:30 a.m., but I wouldn't mind reading up on this. Quick spoiler. Vaal Lightning Strike. Ooh, boy. Foo, that's gonna be a lot of fun. This looks absolutely awful though, but I'll read up. Vaal Arc, awesome. Vaal Detonate Dead. Vaal Stormcall. Damn, Vaal Double Strike, dude. Some of my favorite abilities, or Vaal abilities, I should say. Hoo-hoo-hoo. I like it, I like it. Let's read up on this. Vaal Skills were always intended to be super skills that can be used at pivotal moments for a big burst of power. So we're making various changes to help them better achieve this goal. Pivotal moments, yeah. Players don't recognize pivotal moments. They just fall over and they're dead. I mean, I guess a boss fight is the only pivotal moment you can really talk about. Vaal skill gems now grant the regular and Vaal version of the skill. This is to remove the socketed pressure. Vaal skill gems now grant the regular and the Vaal version of the skill? This is to remove the socket pressure that Vaal skills suffer from, so you no longer have to give up an Aura Herald, trigger skill, or a well-linked secondary skill, and you can justify using a Vaal gem in your best set of linked sockets? What? That's poggers as fuck. That's crazy. That is actually game changing. Wow. Man, I wonder if... Whew, that's pretty nuts. Honestly, that's pretty crazy. Unique and rare enemies now grant souls to Vaal skills as they lose a life. Grant souls to Vaal skills as they lose life. Unique and rare enemies grant souls to Vaal skills as... I'm reading this correctly. What the fuck? Longer fights will generate more Vaal souls for your skills. What? Okay, that has real potential to be broken now. We're maybe pushing it a little bit hard if they don't balance this well. We'll reveal the exact mechanics once we're completely happy with them. Most Vaal skills couldn't be used more than a couple of times on bosses until this change. It couldn't be used at all on standalone encounters like Exile. You won't be able to use them as frequently as in the past when killing lots of enemies, but they'll play a part and have an impact on boss fights. Pivotal moments, boss fights. Who would have thought? I mean, technically nobody's playing Vaal Fireball and Vaal Spark anymore, so it's kind of okay. Interesting. Vaal skills now prevent gaining Vaal souls for a short duration when used. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This change was made so we can no longer need to balance Vaal skills around their ability to generate their soul cost back again when killing many enemies. Because of this change, we can increase the power and reduce the soul cost of many Vaal skills. Ooh. Yikers. Give us some numbers. That sounds a little bit scary. Vaal skills no longer have a high soul cost after your encounter with Kitava. With other changes, Vaal skills no longer need to get more expensive as you start encountering larger monster packs. Vaal souls are now stored per skill rather than per gem. This is to prevent you having multiple copies of the same Vaal skill gem and switching the gems out mid-fight. Well, that only took like 4 years. Thank you. The Ancestral Call support can no longer support Vaal skills. The same is true of multi-strike support and spell echo support. Yeah, but this was always the case, no? Could you support Ancestral Call with them? This is something we'll reassess in the future, but at the moment duplicating Vaal skill effects causes too many technical performance and balance problems. Yeah, gotcha. We're also reworking a rebalancing a huge number of Vaal skills. Some are to make the Vaal skills better fit with their base skill, so they can be fully linked more effectively, while others are simply to give the Vaal skills its own unique epic feel. Epic, dude. It's an epic feel. I'm a little bit scared of not being able to gain Vaal souls for a short duration after you've killed the thing. That sounds like a real buzzkill. But, I mean, I also kind of understand it because the other changes are fucking nuts. Vaal Lightning Strike. This skill now strikes the ground in front of you or hits an enemy, creating an orb on the ground or attached to the enemy. Attached to the enemy? This orb then repeatedly unleashes cones of projectiles aimed at nearby foes. Even if an enemy is killed, the orb continues to fire projectiles. Well, this sounds incredibly abusable with Dominating Blow. Imagine you just place it on a mob, then you don't blow it, make it so that it runs around with you and teleports around, and just auto-attacks. Holy shit, I wonder how long it lasts. That would be really cool. I mean, this is gonna be really good for Deadeye Lightning Strike, however you look at it, because, yeah. It's a big deal. However, you will have Ancestral Call, and on some setups you will have Multi-Strike too. But for the most part, for Lightning Strike, in my opinion, at least when you're playing with the Deadeye Chain, you kind of choose between Molten Strike or Ancestral Call. So, you're not really missing out on two, you should be missing out on one. Vaal Arc. We've reduced the skills chains count to match regular arc, but it now splits every time it chains, meaning that even with 4 extra chains, it can now hit more enemies much more rapidly. Oh god, so it's basically like a lightning locust swarm. I'm gonna play Arc forever now, dude. Impulsa's Arc, Vaal Arc attached to your thing. You don't have to change the sockets for it. Oh, it splits, it chains, it fucks, it. Oh, dear lord. That sounds like so much fun. Applies a long duration, high effect shock. This makes the skill more useful for arc builds against tougher bosses. Now deals more damage with a higher minimum damage, so it is much more reliable for clearing out packs of enemies. Both it and regular arc now deal more damage for each remaining chain, making the first few hits more powerful. Great for targeting tough foes. Wow, arc sounds really strong, dude. Regular arc will have a higher single target now, and Vaal Arc is splitting. Oh man, it's not like everything is OP with Impulsa, but whew, this looks like so much fun. Vaal Detonate Dead. The skill now creates a locus on the ground that regularly pulses, detonating up to 8 nearby corpses. What the fuck? After a short delay, it repeats this effect. It was able to find corpses. It repeats again after an even shorter delay, repeating until no corpses remain or the delay reaches 0. This makes the skill great if you're able to repeatedly generate corpses, creating a huge amount of damage from a single skill. Wow, that's nuts for like, well, anything Poet's Pen. It's pretty crazy. I mean, so many cool setups with this. Damn. Alright, one of my two of my personal favorites, because this is something that I talked about very recently, and Vaal Stormcall is like by far my favorite Vaal skill, I'd say, because it's been very reliable like over the years, while other skills like came and left. So the skill now strikes nearby enemies with lightning, but the lightning strikes now deal damage in an area of effect, making it much more powerful against groups of enemies. The skill also strikes a fixed number of enemies over its duration, making reductions to skill duration a damage per second increase rather than a damage loss. Making reductions to skill duration a damage per second increase. Oh, it's a fixed number of enemies. Oh wow, so you can have like a turbo Vaal Stormcall and it's still going to hit the same amount of targets, or gonna hit the same amount on an individual target. That sounds pretty nutty. Like you place one of those down with like a ton of skill duration reduction, and you just like pops 10 of them on top of a boss or something. That's fucking sick. Fixed number of times. Yeah, fixed number of times. Sorry, I don't know if I read it as enemies. It's because the less duration gem is often used with Stormcall, so we wanted it to be a good support with Vaal Stormcall. Hell yeah, dude. I absolutely approve. That's gonna be so much fun too, because everything's gonna die with Impulsa anyway, dude. And it's got AoE now. Shit. We've doubled the number of doubles spawned by okay. We've doubled the number of doubles spawned by Vaal Double Strike, doubled the duration, and doubled the number of uses that can be stored. The double's base movement speed has been almost doubled. Fucking hell. God damn it, Bex. And further increases as the skill levels, growing to 100% more double movement speed. This is no longer limited on the number of doubles you can have active at once. That sounds crazy. Both Vaal Double Strike and Double Strike now deal additional damage against bleeding enemies. Oh, that's fun. The doubles also have new effects on them that makes them stand out from other skills that duplicate your character. The doubles also have new effects on them. Okay, yeah, so just a visual. The doubles from Vaal Double Strike were one of the few autonomous ways to do weapon damage, but were greatly limited, so we've changed the skill. You can try to get multiple doubles active at once. They're invulnerable and use your weapon damage, so make a unique kind of clone build. Other Vaal skills are receiving significant reworks and numerical adjustments, but we want to wait until they're further along before we talk about them. We also have a number of entirely new Vaal skills coming, holy, which we'll reveal in the weeks to come. A number of entirely new Vaal skills. Man. Necroscourge Claw. Double. Movement speed blender build. Anybody? Anyone? Damn. Well, everything looks awesome. The only downer being, yeah, probably the short duration, but certain skills apparently get 2 charges anyway, so it's like, yeah, but the fact that it charges up and everything, reduction anymore, and the fact that you don't have to get extra sockets for it, which actually literally makes it usable for everything, but obviously you've still got the sacrifice of, well, I could have a Vaal skill, or I could have like a 2120 gem, as opposite to, you know, having like a 2020 at best, right? Or a 21-0. So, whew, it looks great, man. I love it. I think Vaal Contagion or Vaal Essence Drain is definitely going to be a thing. No doubt in my mind that that's coming out. I think they're definitely going to add something for cremation. Like a Vaal cremation is definitely going to be a thing. I mean, probably some sort of Vaal explosive arrow will be cool. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be adding skills that are essentially like effects, right? So let's take like a Vaal haste as an aura, but instead make it into like, yeah, let's say explosive arrow, right? And let's say for the duration of this Vaal skill, your regular explosive arrow attacks will now always explode upon impact without the need to use like reduced duration or something like that. Like stuff like that would be very interesting, I think. Vaal conversion trap, let's go. Hey, we already have Vaal lightning warp. I wish they made Vaal Stormcall a little bit more interesting, but my Vaal arc will cover it anyway. And I love how they're actually approaching this from the right point of view. It's like, Vaal Stormcall is the perfect example of this, where for Vaal Stormcall, you want as long duration as possible, but for Stormcall, you want as short duration as possible. So, like, the two abilities will work against each other, which would mean that you would never play Vaal Stormcall with Stormcall. You would only ever play Vaal Stormcall with, like, Arc or Lightning Tendrils or something, right? Which was very silly over the years, but now that this is the case, hell yeah, dude. I've been saying forever that GGG needs to implement something that either has a cooldown or some sort of build-up or some sort of like big hit and all that sort of stuff, and last Epoch, I think, really showcased well how cooldowns can be done in ARPGs where they work really well, and I've seen a lot of promising cooldown-like behaviors from Lost Ark too, and it's really outstanding to see something like that being implemented into PoE, as long as they actually put an effort to balance it. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Very excited for this.